The reason why I asked that is because especially at lower elo or like yeah, I didn't even ask you as well. What's your rank?
I'm in gold 1. No, plat. No
Right,
plat.
gold, plat, you know, is middling ranks. This is actually a very common issue in those ranks where you'll spend a lot of time playing at a minimum like 3 heroes, maybe more, probably more actually, to more towards like 4 to 5, and then it's like the saying, jack of all trades, master of none, and you end up not really getting good at any of the characters. So it's like another analogy that I use is like imagine you're trying to learn an instrument. One week you learn the violin, the next week you learn the cello, and the week after you learn the double bass. Whereas in actuality, had you spent those 3 weeks just learning the violin, you would have made more progress on the violin. And then you can
Yeah.
transfer that skill set towards other instruments. So even myself, right, like even when I played the game, I just one trick. Now obviously hero bands are gonna come in, so maybe that's not a good idea. But I just one trick Malgo. That's literally it, and I'm master 3 with a 70%, 80% win rate. I think I'm not saying for you to one trick because again hero bands and whatnot, and again some heroes might just be unplayable in certain situations. But I would narrow down your hero pool, probably cut the hog, I'd say. Orisa is like whatever. I'd probably say Orisa, Winston, and then as like your main hero pool maybe, because you've got a ground tank, a dive
Yeah.
tank, and then that should be fine. Orisa's not in a great state
Yeah.
right now, but that shouldn't really matter if you're able to hit javelins and play the character correctly here. And then speaking of Orisa, what are you looking, or how are you looking to get value out of this character? What are you looking to do?
Mostly you just bully the tank and spear on the people that are out of position.
Yeah, to some extent, yeah, I think you can. I wouldn't. So yeah, but bullying the tank it becomes important when you're playing against dive matchups, where getting a Doomfist to half HP is really important because he's not going to dive on half HP. Getting a Winston without armor is also really important for the same reason. Conversely, what I don't want you to see you do is just spam and shoot the hog here because he's big, fat, and juicy, and you'll get big hit points and whatnot, which is satisfying. I get it. But what I really want you to do is try and again almost play like a not a dive tank's kind of wrong to say, but you've got like a dive cycle almost of cooldowns where you can spear spin in, javelin someone, fortify out if you need to, or spear spin in, javelin someone, and then keep fortifying in to finish the kill. That should be used against squishies that take angles. So if I see this Cassidy on high ground here, or even this honor, right, I actually want you to like almost flank around, try and take the space for free, and this is gold, like no one's actually controlling the space that's important, i.e. the high grounds here. You can legit just flank around here, look and try and get a kill onto the enemy honor. That's completely reasonable. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't want you to spear spin here immediately because this is open space. Obviously, don't do that. But just shoot the honor, javelin her, maybe into the wall. That can maybe force an aid. That can maybe force a sleep dart. That could be actually adequate pressure put onto the honor there by you doing that kind of play. So in other words, don't just shoot the tank. Obviously, look for javelins where possible, and look for openings onto the back line if you see an opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously, I'll just play slow a bit. Your team's used to saying down numbers, whatever. So what you're doing is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so with Fortify, when did you Fortify this? Yeah, so I would have Fortified around now. People Fortify way too late, and because of the damage reduction, Fortify becomes way more important when the more HP you have, because of the multiplicative effect. So if you're 200 HP, I think Fortify is 50% damage reduction, whatever the case is. That's effectively 300. Whereas conversely, had you Fortified on 400 HP, that becomes 600. So you get a 300 plus gain. Even though it's only a 200 increase, you essentially get more effective HP by fortifying when you're higher HP. Obviously, I'm not going to say the point of what I'm saying there isn't to fortify on high HP because you want to be fortifying aggression, right?
Oh no.
And right now you're taking a lot of aggression by the cast. He's literally finding you in the hammer right now. So I think when you're taking this aggro, now I would fortify because again you're going to maximize that benefit of getting the effective HP while also being able to actually absorb the aggro by the Cassidy and try and shoot him off. But yeah. The tracking here is a little bit rough. I'm not gonna again better tracking than you probably get the kill. I'm not gonna cry at you too much for that. What I will say, and this might be useful on other characters like Hog and short range characters, but just take your time, right? Just take your time. Don't shoot when you feel like you can't hit any shots here. I would actually right now I would have much rather you not shoot and just readjust your crosshair. Just spend half a second to readjust your crosshair, then you can continue to fire. Rather than just dump in your entire clip and then have like a 10%, 20% accuracy rate. It's something that I give a lot of Tracer players or just other characters in general, Reaper, Hog as well. But yeah, that way, like, again, having a little bit more time, because keep in mind, your shots are projectile, your crosser needs to be around about here, not above the Cassidy, for you to hit more shots. And slight adjustment there would have actually allowed you to kill the Cassidy. Okay.
Yeah, also, I just, like, 3 weeks ago, I lowered my sense, like, a lot.
Right. So that might take some adjustment to get used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes
My
sense.
sense was way too high.
Alright, let's see here. Okay, your Zarya is dead, your team's low. Okay. So yeah, I would not go in here. Like, your team's like, again, you're just staggering. Again, very common thing in lower ranks. Just reset, look to take a different angle. Clearly going here isn't necessarily working. I would try and take a different angle. It might be a bit easier. Maybe up here, and try and walk through there. I wouldn't really go through it because it's very choky. But yeah, just try and open up the map or reset with your team. Either one's fine. Hopefully you don't die here. I have a feeling you might die for this. Yes, you probably will. So, what told you to go in here, essentially?
Probably just not paying attention to my team.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think I really have a reason to go in here.
Yeah, now there's and like, that's kind of like an idea about, like, looking for trades. Which it would have been fine had you seen the appropriate triggers to be able to look for a trade. These are the same triggers that I also use to describe the difference between soft engaging and also hard engaging. For clarity, I assume hopefully you know what those terms mean. But soft engaging, basically means that, like, again, you're looking just to get space, not
Cooldowns maybe.
yeah, cooldowns as well, HP, ult charge, etc. Like, you're not committing to anything. Whereas hard engaging, like, you're actually trying to look for high lethality, look for kills. Yeah, that's basically your role as a Orisa. Or any tank in the game, really, especially on dive tanks. What I'm saying here is that the triggers to differentiate. Okay, when do I hard engage? When do I soft engage? One of those triggers are I've got 5 of those triggers. One of those are HP. So if that hog was low, where is he? If the hog was 1 HP, then you going onto him makes sense to look for a trade. You hard committing there makes sense. Conversely, numbers is also another trigger as well. So if you're on a 5v3, or on a 6v4, or on a 6v5, that can tell you to look or to push up and play a little bit more aggressively. Conversely, if you're playing, and this is actually counterintuitive what I'm about to say, if you're on a 4v5 or on a 5v4, sometimes that can also be a trigger for you to also look. That's not 5v4. I meant 5v6 in 6v6. But yeah, if you are down one, that can also be a trigger to play really, really fast and hard engage and look for a trade. Because the only way you're winning a 4v5 or a 5v6 is by playing really, really, really quickly. If you play super slow, you're going to lose the war of attrition because you're just naturally down a player. So that can be another trigger as well. That one can get a bit complicated though. The next one is like ults, right? So maybe you guys had Nanoblade here. Oh, no, wrong team. But maybe you guys had, I don't know, like Grav or Terra Soldier. You had like so many ultimates that could swing a low, like the swing, like a 3v6 maybe. Then that could be more reasonable to hard engage. What else? Positioning is one as well. So I briefly mentioned this, but their Ana is playing really, really far away. So if you're playing someone like Doomfist or someone like Winston, then jumping on the Ana and trying to look for a kill, even flanking around on Hog, can make some sense. Diva as well, to be honest. So yeah, this one can be a bit harder to look for, but yeah, basically like positional splits, or people are out in open space. Even you were a victim of this earlier by you playing Hog and getting hooked out in open space. So that allowed the Hog and Cast to hard engage you. And then last one is HP numbers. Oh yeah, I think cooldowns is the last one, I think. So yeah, again, if that Hog has no breather, or the Brick hasn't got a bash, if Ana's got no sleep dart, if she's got no a nade, whatever, then you can look to hard engage that. Again, that links into the soft engage thing about forcing a cooldown. So a lot of talking there from me, but I thought I'd bring that up because it is something that's really, really important to understand when you're playing Winston and dive comps too.
Yeah.
And that should be really important for you to understand and get a conceptual framework of like, okay, none of those 5 triggers here make or apply to that situation. None of those 5 triggers here show you that it was worth looking for a trade. But all those 5 triggers show you to actually retreat it back and look to reset. So yeah, I could maybe see it if the Hog was low, or if anyone else was 1 HP, but fortunately, that was not the case. Okay. And now we're starting to see like the downsides, or like, not downsides, sorry, but I guess, pitfalls of this map, I suppose. Where now, like, we haven't even had a proper fight, and you're already halfway down, you know? Like, we're already halfway there, which is not great. Good news is that they actually end up overextending themselves, so the team end up crushing. They've wasted Valley. Okay, fine. Honor, sure. Cool. Get it up there. We'll get to perks later if need be.
Okay.
Okay, hedge reduction. Okay, sure. Get up. Yeah, so why? I'll ask you this. There's a few things here. Why stand on points, and where should you be standing instead?
Probably to my right.
Like around here.
Yeah. At least behind cover.
Yeah, okay, cover's one thing there. So I would agree. This is better than here. But how else would I say?
On high ground or?
Yeah, so okay, there's this idea that again, it's really important on any character in the game. It's called aggressive but safe. I'm sure you have maybe heard me say this before. But essentially, this is where you play positions that allow you to aggress onto the enemy backline, or generally aggress onto the enemy team, while keeping you very safe. So a position like that could be something like this, where you're holding this angle here. If the honor, if I zoom out here, let me just get a better angle here. Let's say you play here, and let's say the honor on the enemy team stands right here. This is aggressive because you can aggress onto the honor by rotating through here and trying to pressure the honor like this. That's so you can aggress onto the honor. But it's also very safe because you've got cover, as I talked about beforehand. You've got distance because you can just run away. You've got a lot of distance away from the honor, so you're fine. And you've got a retreat path, so you can just cut back in this direction, back to your team if you need to. You can also drop point if you also need to as well, right? Whereas, again, if I look at the position you suggested to me over here, right, the only thing, this is just safe, right? There's no aggression. How can you push the honor? The only thing you can do onto the honor is maybe look for a javelin. That's it, really. Like, your options are very limited in terms of how you want to reach the honor here, which again, not great considering you don't even have a shield perk. You know, you're not even looking to play really slow, really defensive, and actually just look to play point. You actually, again, you've got spear spin. You're actually looking to somehow aggress into the enemy backline in some kind of way. You're not just some sort of spam bot from distance. You know, otherwise you'd be playing Sigma. But yeah, so like that's my main issue with that position, is that it's safe, right? Fairly safe. But it's not that aggressive, right? I would even suggest as well, this isn't even that safe, because where can you actually retreat to, right? Like over here,
like nothing basically.
Like yeah, you can't jump over here, right? The point is also open, so if they swing the corner, now your cover's gone, right? So like it's not even that safe of a position to play, anyways. So yeah, that's kind of again like really important to understand. And again, we could draw like a hypothetical here, and maybe let's play the fight, and let's say you were here from the get go. Speed it up a little bit. Right, and the Zarya grabs really early, and this is a bad grab, don't get me wrong here, but you can see how you would have been able to actually aggress onto the grab had you been playing here the entire time. You could have even like walked forward here, and then that could be fairly reasonable. It would be much better than, again, standing where you are right now. But you could also, again, flank through here and look at the angle that you have. This is an insane angle, you know? Like, that Genji's dead. The Brig's dead. The Hog's low. He's probably dead, you know? And that could also, you can maybe even...
Search like a good play.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. You could spear spin in, Terra Surge afterwards as well. That could be also very reasonable. So yeah, that could have been many things you could have done there, you know? So... yeah, I don't really care like how the cycle of how you use your cooldowns look here. You could just stand here and shoot and throw a javelin and hold this corner. You could do that. You could also, because again you've got the back to the triggers thing, right? The Hog's low. You've also got a positional advantage because they're out in open space. You've also got a what's it called? An ult advantage because of the grab itself and your Terra Surge. So there are actually multiple triggers that tell you, okay, I've got triggers. I'm going to spear spin in. I'm going to fortify to keep going, and then after my fortify ends, I'm going to press Q and kill them all. That could also be, like, again, a really nice sort of play you make there, right? So either play's fine. I think, again, you could definitely make that Terra Surge play. I would definitely suggest you do that because of the triggers that you have. But yeah, so again, that option for you is completely off the table based on what you're playing. So you're not gonna. It's not like you're feeding here. Like this isn't. You're not feeding. But again, it's especially in the elo, especially in Gold and Plat, it's always missed opportunities to sort of carry fights. And again, this is a prime. I'd say this is a prime example of that. So yeah. Okay. And obviously, like again, in like this sort of scenario, right, where your team sort of just destroy them without even having to use Terror Surge in the first place. Obviously, you wouldn't have to Terror Surge this, right? But yeah, again, that option there's the kind of idea. Okay. Honestly, like if there's one thing to take away from this entire board, it's probably that fight. And again, let's say again hypothetically, you were playing Winston here, and they grabbed. Exact same idea. You can jump like on this little thingy-majig, get a massive, humongous cleave, bubble as well to block off heals. That could have been a huge carry. Same thing on Hog too. You could have flanked around here, hooked someone in the grab, maybe just shoot normally. That works as well, right? So again, like the idea applies to all different characters. You're just doing it in different ways based on your hero's kit. But yeah, probably the most important thing to take away from this board, I would predict or I would expect.
So on most maps, I just want to look for like high ground that can engage on the common
right,
point
so
where they will sit.
The way I would describe that is aggressive but safe, right? I haven't seen this code, I haven't seen anything, right? But I know from just experience that, and using that sort of like a, I guess, idea of playing spaces that are aggressive like this, but also really, really safe, that you would have done infinitely more had you played it, right? Regardless of the grab, regardless of where they play, regardless if they drop point, regardless if they play here, regardless of whatever. That is an aggressive but safe position. Typically high grounds are an example of that. But yeah, aggressive but safe is how I would describe that concept or idea, and you'll get better with it over time. So yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, Nano Blade. I wouldn't mind Terror Surging this. I probably would. So, yeah, why is Terror Surge here a good idea? And why don't you do it?
Because I trade one ult for 2. It's
Uh,
also the strongest ult combo in the game. Like my team can just get demolished here.
yeah, right.
Especially Kiriko. That's, yeah, he's probably already dead, but
I mean, yeah,
could
you
saved her if I pressed earlier.
yeah, for sure. I think in this situation here, if you press Q, I mean, even if your Q is probably going to die regardless of the Nano Blade here, right? But the point being is, you sucking him in makes him like, it just pulls him away from the Juno. It makes it harder for him to sort of chain kills into your backline here with the Terror Surge. And it also makes it a tension pool, where maybe there's a chance that the Genji actually looks at you and not your backline, not your squishy backline, which is exactly what you want, because you're invincible on Orisa basically. But yeah. But Sakia, I think right now, like you see that the Genji swings and doesn't actually kill your Kiriko, this would be a chance to Terror Surge him. And again, you could have just sucked him right back here, and then he can't chase your Juno really. So yeah, I think that's the main power of your Terror Surge in this situation. Someone doesn't kill your Juno. I bet Genji would have, but yeah, okay.
This is like something you would commonly want to do with Terror Surge, is just like preventing enemy ults from getting value.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. So I think they go on.
Yeah, because I don't think Terror Surge on itself is like really good to kill people.
Yeah,
like,
no.
You can very easily just run away from it. It's not that hard.
Yeah, you are right. So Terror Surge is not a great ultimate. It's either used to think of it like a Doom ult almost, where it's almost used as another sort of trigger to actually hard engage, and keep living and keep pushing in, or it can be used to effectively zone backlines slash regen cooldowns. So when I mean zone backlines, I'm sure again if you watch my videos you might have heard of the turn and burn kind of playstyle and whatnot. So yeah, it kind of links into that in terms of, again, you're zoning off 3 people. Terror Surge does that because you've got the Fortify. The actual area of effect of the Terror Surge itself zones people away. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the purpose of Terror Surge, I suppose, as a zoning. So I haven't seen it that much because, again, Orisa's been very unpopular right now or as of recent. But yeah, I've seen, if you want like a really simple use it as a hard engage tool. Use it like a Doom ult. Use it to, like, again, if you want to keep pushing in, Terror Surge is your thing. So yeah. Sometimes you can pure with it. I think that's like an off case there where you could have actually like sucked in the Genji. But yeah. Okay. Unfortunate. Okay. And again, like here, this is aggressive, but it's dangerous. Because I don't. In fact, you tell me, right? Why is this aggressive but dangerous?
Because I'm alone.
Yeah, you partially right. I mean,
I'm out of line of sight of all my healers.
right. So LOS is also something important that I haven't even touched on, right? Where your your Kiri can't see you, so you're even though I don't think being alone isn't indicative of danger. So like for example here, like you were technically alone, but you could play backwards into the LOS of your backline. That's not really the case here. Like you can maybe back off here, but Juno's not gonna be wanting to peek around the corner here to come and help you. So you can't. Again, there's no LOS to anyone on your team really. Not even like a zoning effect where maybe you move back into the LOS of your Sojourn and she can just zone off with big scary Railgun. She can't even do that because again of how isolated you are. There's also not much distance. Now, if you engage here onto the enemy honor, you're literally right next to them, which is not particularly great if you want to escape back. And also, that's another thing as well. You haven't really got a clear escape path. Like, here, maybe, right? Here, maybe. Right, but they're not really clear escape paths compared to the last ones that we've seen. So, again, I would say this is dangerous based on the fact that, again, your supports can't see you. You've got no clear escape path. And yeah, so we'll see how this cycle goes for you. I would not expect it. I mean, maybe you can get away with this, right? But yeah.
I believe I ult here, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you do. You get slapped here. Again, a better reaction time, you could have spin that, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, and you probably die for that, right? And I was not shocked when I first saw you flank there. That again, that's a dangerous. You are in the right mindset of what you want to do. It's just that you don't do it in a correct or safe way. I would describe it. So yeah. Okay. The only way I can see that play working is if you let them walk a bit further, so you've got a little bit more distance and they can't really chase you. That's the only way I can see that working, right? Where you just like hide.
Yeah, and then Ana gets left alone, probably.
Right. So you literally just AFK, you hide here, you wait for them to walk up, and then you just run around, boom, go on Ana, boom. Hog's like billions of years away from you, so you won't be able to get jumped on by the Hog, and they'll be all good. So the timing of that was early itself, and again, was a fairly dangerous angle based on the factors I described. Alright. Let's see here.
Secure the objective.
Okay.
By more.
Okay, so your team's gonna lose that probably. Speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. Okay. Go on, go in. Yeah, so why are you picking her again when you know your team's like, trying to reset?
Probably because I just didn't really look at my team.
Yeah, so maybe, again, another key theme so far has been awareness, where you're just not aware of what your team's doing. I mean, even in that last fight as well, you had no awareness of where your team was playing. You had no awareness of your Juno Kiriko. And in the second fight too, you also didn't really have much awareness on, your team resetting and dying, or the kill feed, right? So I always say, if you want to improve awareness, look at pay attention to visual cues on your screen. The most obvious one is the kill feed, right over here. So that can tell you the status of the fight. But also, cues like, what else? I mean, looking around before fights is also a really good habit to get into. So maybe before you actually go in here, just swing your camera around. Like literally just swing your camera around, see where everyone's at, and then you can make a choice depending on, okay, if I push here, can my team help me? But obviously, the answer to that question in this case is no, they can't. So you're probably not gonna die for this. Hopefully, you don't die for this. But again, against a better team, you probably will. Yeah, worst case scenario, you're forcing cooldowns here. Oh yeah, you do die for that, right? And again, like this isn't great. Now we're in like last fight territory, and your team's entering in this fight in a 5v6, which is not great. So I would expect your team to lose this. As I mentioned, you also die with Terror Surge, which is not great either. And who knows, right? Maybe, again, had you lived here, like, there's so many different opportunities. You can actually walk with your Orbital Ray, and just destroy that Bastion, maybe Terror Surge on point. That could be great. Or you could maybe look to put the Spit Spin in, Javelin the Sojourn, put her into the wall, destroy her. That's also reasonable. Maybe Spit Spin in and finish off the Honor too. That could also be fine, right? Any of those things would have been way better than what you did here. So yeah.
This ends now.
Really need to keep in mind of where your team is playing.
Engage the objective.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay.
Engage the objective.
And that also might be as well, by the way, where you mentioned at the very beginning, running 3 supports, oh, my team aren't healing me. I don't think it's that. I just think you're not wary of what your team's playing and wary of that really. Of the LOS as well. I think that's the main issue. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, well, to be fair, I mean, if you look at the damage numbers, it was like stupidly low. I believe the Ana was like out healing our heals alone.
Yeah. I wouldn't be too
Yeah, I know she'll be fixated on that shit, but
yeah. Even
I
like
can't really influence it.
yeah, the only like stat that I think really matters, and this stat as well, it also needs to be taken with a grain of salt, is really deaths. Because deaths can indicate how whether you're feeding or not. But some deaths, all deaths aren't built equal. You know, a dying first fight or dying first in a fight is really bad. Whereas if you die at the end of a fight, who really cares? You know, your team already lost that fight. So even deaths can be very, different. So yeah, I would just ignore the scoreboard essentially. It can give you like a false sense of like, security that you're doing well or whatever. Yeah, it can also cause you to miss out on the fact that, again, multiple fights, you just had no awareness of where your team were playing. And you were playing in the wrong spaces too. Okay, let's see here. So what's a space that you can maybe look to play?
Probably the top right.
Yeah, top right's not bad. Yeah, I think top right's not terrible. I think my only issue here is that I probably wouldn't just spin and play here. And again, this is aggressive but safe, where again you've got plenty of cover. You can aggress onto the Bastion if he walks up, but also you can just spin out and then rejoin your Kiriko here if you get full style or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'd say this is aggressive but safe. I was also thinking where you are right now. I think here would probably be best, where you're getting a little bit more closer, a little bit more aggressive to the back line, right? But also you're still safe because this big-ass pillar can help you. This also, you give a retreat path, you can also use this as cover. Your backline can still see you, all that kind of good stuff. So I'll push up here slightly to play this corner here. But barring that, nothing crazy so far. Okay. So, I mean, their team are stacking. I mean, this is obviously obvious gold play. But, yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy right now because its enemy team aren't taking an angle here. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about these cooldowns here right now. So, what was the purpose of spear spinning this? As well as fortifying afterwards?
Probably because I saw Bastion peeking.
Right. Two things. Can you aggress on Bastion from here? And
No, I can't.
is Bastion aggressing onto you?
Bastion was not, and no, I cannot.
No, right? So this is it's a pretty high level idea, so I'm not gonna dog on you too much for it because even high level players will still mention this too. But this is a deal called Visual Aggro. It was at the end of my Genji video. But basically, like it's where you pay attention to what the enemy team are looking at. If this Bastion is looking at you, because again his eyes are directed towards you. I mean, he hasn't got eyes, right? But if his character model is directed towards you, then you are taking visual aggro. Right now, the only visual aggro you're taking is Discord from Zen because of the purple thing. So you know Zen's looking at you, right? That's the only aggro you're taking. This Zen aggro from Discord at this distance, does that require you to spear spin?
No, it does not.
No, right? Because you can just do this. Go back and cover, cleanse it, fine, right? So yeah, that's kind of my main issue is that you're sort of like pressing buttons here on Orisa and not really thinking about who's really looking at you too much. But yeah. And that could have been nice because you could have got to this position anyways without having to use your spear spin, you know? And now you can cleanse Discord, you can just play cover, cleanse Discord. You're also much closer to the Bastion. The Bastion's also not got its heart form, right? So now we're slowly building up these triggers where oh god, that's not great. But yeah, we're slowly building up these triggers, right? Where you've got HP advantage because Widow's low, Cog's fairly low too. Cooldown advantage because you should have kept your spear spin. Bastion's got no form too. Positional advantage because you've got points and you're also getting closer. Right, and we're slowly building these triggers for you to be able to actually hard engage and get a good cycle off. So yeah. Unfortunately though, I don't think that's going to be possible here. And again, same thing with this 4-5-2, you know? Like, they're not aggressing onto you. This Orisa isn't aggressing onto you. She's not spinning around the corner, trying to mow you over.
No.
This Bastion's not doing that. He's not in turret form trying to mow you over. Hulk's not trying to mow you over either. So there's no point fortifying here. And you aren't trying to do the same thing either. You're not trying to go into the Bastion. So, again, fortify is a waste. It's not great. And the crazy thing, too, is that you could have, like, cleansed Discord here, spear spin in, fortify to ignore the the honor, sleep dart and whatnot, and then it's finished. So split spin in, fortify out, and then you get a good cycle off. Your backline can still see you, your jungler can still see you, your Q kill and your Moira can still see you. You can drop off here as well. That could have been a nice cycle. So yeah. Okay. Ooh, that's unfortunate. And now again, you can see like fortify would have been useful here, or might be useful right now.
Yeah.
Thankfully you can spin out, so it should be okay. Okay. You know, so it's a widow. Okay. And like now, like if I go like back at this, right? So when do you use fortify? Like now, right? But again, the Bastion's not looking at you. Right? The Hog is DPing you. Orisa is DPing you. You can avoid this aggro very easily without having to use Fortify. I've got a saying. You don't want bad positioning to force bad cooldowns. Or in other words, you don't want it to be out in open space such that your cooldowns get forced. And that's kind of what's happening here. Where, again,
Yeah, I see.
your Juno's dead, you know? Like, I wouldn't mind if you played slow, waited for spear spin, and then tried to look for a trade, right? Because they're half HP, you're down one, so there's 2 triggers right there, and they probably use their cooldowns as well, right? And you could even wait out the Bastion cycle, so you get another trigger as well. So that could have been a good case to sort of wait for or look at. But yeah, been unfortunate. Okay. Again, same thing applies to the spit spin too. We're just pressing buttons at this point. Okay. Open space, right? So yeah, the Social just dies to air. Right, and now the Bastion's been nano boosted, right? And he actually took an angle here. I mean, had you noticed this at the time, you could have actually used your cooldowns to destroy it, right? So if I back up here. Had you actually known that Bastion was coming here? I mean, this is the freest kill of your life, you know? You just spit spin, fortify, and you can't, the honor can't do anything. The Bastion can't do anything. That's a free kill. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure. I would have spit spin into him and then keep fortifying him because he should be very killable. Because even though he's nano boosted, he's solo, he's playing alone. But the more scary thing is you're ignoring the aggro down main, right? Like the Zen should be peeking you, and they should be burning you from this angle here, so, right? But you're not even aware of this happening, so you don't get punished for it, right? But again, the same kind of principle applies there. You're not taking into consideration the enemy team's aggro. Okay, that one's obviously good though. Okay, again, you use Fortify here, and again, you are taking visual aggro here, right? So the outcome of this Fortify is decent, but again, do you need to be peeking this? No, right? You can just de-peek it, and you can say Fortify without having to do anything, you know? Just play the cover and you're fine. So yeah. And again, not to mention, this is also aggressive but safe. Because it's safe because you've got cover, and again, it forces the Orisa to walk in open space to come and kill you. But it's also aggressive because, even look at what your Moira's doing, right? You can flank around, and look at that Zen, right?
Yeah.
3 kill, right? So again, looking for these spaces in the middle of the fight is really important. Okay. Okay. I'm not even aware of the Zen dying, you know? Like, you're not even thinking about trying to get the kill onto him. You're so tunnel on killing these tanks. So yeah. Orisa is fine, she's 1 HP obviously, right? So I'm not gonna blame you too much for this, but yeah. A bit unfortunate there. Let's see that again. I think in this situation here, you just don't realize the honor's behind, and again, healing the Orisa here. So I don't blame you for going to the rest of the versus 1. But if you want to spit spin this direction, and then play back here, right? So you're almost soft engaging this essentially. So you're not again out of your team's LOS. Okay. Just unfortunate. Okay. Could win that fight though, thankfully. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I would leave that. I mean, yeah, you popped Coalescence and Kitsune, but Trans is gonna defeat that, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when is this going on? What should be going... And you've got Terror Surge as well. What should be going through your mind?
I wanted probably, in first place, when Zen had not popped ult yet, I wanted to ult that.
Right.
And then I
So...
just wanted to fall back for it because they are using a lot of ults.
Yeah. So, fall backing, because they're using a lot of ults. completely reasonable. Okay with that. Good start. But now, I think when you've got point control and you've got Terror Surge, this chance is going to end. You know that for sure. It's going to end, right? You also know, most likely, they're probably going to walk forward here by their body language, right? Especially if they're, again, you're looking at them, you can see them, they're moving forward here. So, what you could do is hide over here, right?
I see, yeah.
And then wait for them to walk into point, and then spear spin in, so you can get in quickly. 4-5, you've got it.
Search
And then Terror Surge, right, where they're all playing here. So let's say, hypothetically, if that actually happens. Let's see. Maybe camera's better for this, actually. Let's see here. Again, you don't need to use 4-5 for this. You know, you're not taking immense amounts of aggro, and you're not playing really aggro yourself.
Oh, I see.
And right around here, right now would be a great time to Terror Surge. Spear spin right in, 4-5 in, clap that Lucio, clap that Honor, maybe even catch the Zen and Bastion too. I mean, those aren't necessary, but you can if you want. And then you get the Lucio and Honor for free. GG, you know?
Yeah.
And your supports can see you, like your support LOS, right? All that kind of good stuff, right? Only thing I'd be concerned about is Discord, maybe. But barring that, I would still look at this and say, hey, a Terror Surge here that kills the Honor Lucio, creates a ton of space for my team, gets at least 2 trades minimum out of this. That would have been great. So yeah, that could have been a very good opportunity there. That's not missed, right? Based on, again, how you're playing and how you're using your cooldowns a little bit too frivolously. Now you're looking for a trade, right? Now you're actually trying to look for something, but again, no cooldowns. So you're gonna get burned for this. Maybe not, right? So you do actually do some kind of like effect or something similar to what I was implying to there. It's just a bit too little too late, to be honest. That's my main issue, right? Your Juno's already dead, Hog's already pushed up too far, and it's very telegraphed because you're going down main, instead of actually going around like this. So,
yeah, you just need to be flanking more, I think.
Yeah.
You're flanking more in the safe way.
The term I like using for this is mid-fight rotations, right? So you're rotating here in the mid-fight is kind of how I like to describe it. And that's like again, the reason why I like using that term is because it tells you when to do it, which is the mid-fight, and it tells you how to do it, which is to rotate to different positions, or to move to different positions, I should say. So that's why I like calling it mid-fight rotations instead of flanking. But yeah, the general gist of it, you are right in that. But yeah. Okay. And obviously, judging by some code here, I assume you're gonna lose the preceding fights. Okay, let's see. Okay, but unfortunate. Okay. Let's see here again, because you don't cleanse Discord here. Okay, so you get Kitsune, Discord again. Yeah, so what happens to your spear spin is my question here. Already, let's see. Okay. So I can ask you this immediately. Where should you be looking to move to?
To my left.
Why to your left?
Because there's coffee here.
Yeah?
I can still spear spin in and just look for kills that are below me.
Right. What about spear spinning to or moving to here?
That will be way better. Because I can kill Bastion and contest points there.
Right. So 2 things either happen here. Right. So when you press, so you get spear spin over here, and you're gonna land up over here. There's multiple options again, right? You can aggress them to the Bastion. Again, you're seeing a theme here: aggressive but safe. You can aggress them to the Bastion, or if this Orisa and this Hog, this their Lucio, their Bastion, etc., if they want to come and push you, then they themselves are putting themselves in a very bad position, right? Because they're in open space.
Yeah, I see.
Right? So this is why it's safe. In other words, this is why spear spinning into this position here is actually you get best of both worlds. You can aggress into the Bastion, and no one can aggress onto you. And if they do, then your team will just follow them up, right? Because they're out in open space here. So that's what I really wanted to see you move to. It's again finding these positions that are aggressive but safe. Instead of playing here, because here would be like safe, roughly, right? But yeah, that's not great, I would say. Here's a bit weird though, because again, I don't think that you had this idea of playing here in your mind. But
no, I don't think so.
Right. So that probably explains why you're a little bit, I guess, hesitant or I guess haywire in terms of how you're using your cooldowns here. Which again, I don't necessarily blame you for. But yeah. Okay. Again, you're no need to use 4-5 there, obviously. Now you're in open space, didn't space come across, and now you're dead. Yeah, unfortunate. And who knows, maybe you could have actually got, if you actually were to space spin to that position there, who knows, maybe you could have javelin the Bastion out of his artillery strike, and that could have saved your Zarya, right? And that could lead to a whole new domino effect of a fight there. Okay, let's speed it up. Okay. Sure. Right, so I think that makes this is better, right? Why is this a better position to hold?
Because they have to walk into open space to kill me.
Exactly, right? So if they want to come and push you from here, they need to be like, okay, I'm going to swing wide into like a fucking overclock, mind you, and try and kill this Orisa, right? Which they can't do, right? Conversely, on your end as well, you can also just aggress here, right? You got a good angle there. A good angle here as well. You can maybe spear spin the Bastion in, isolate in, that could be good as well. Multiple different options here. So this is aggressive but safe. We're off to a good start here. Let's see. Okay. So you get, yeah, you don't really swing wide or take the angle here, which again I would have loved to see. Again, I'm not saying for you to spear spin in here and try and look for a try. Don't do that because again you haven't got enough triggers here. You're basically going in 1v5. And you're going to get banned by Zen and whatnot, right? But again, the point here being is by playing here, you can threaten the Zen, again, zone them out from the fight, draw attention away, zone the Orisa away, draw attention away. If you get pushed, fine, you go back to the thing, and your Juno can help you, right? So again, kind of the idea there on that angle. And again, especially with that shield too, because of the shield part, you don't want to be shooting that. Again, gives you more of a reason to widen the angle, right? And then again, this is the rotation I want you to make. Look at the Zen and Honor too, right? By the way, right? Like,
yeah, just a free kill.
Those are free kills. So you javelin her, free kill. So yeah, kind of what I was leading to earlier. Another mid rotation you could have made there, right? But again, we're doing the gold mentality. Let's just spam the tanks, guys. Instead of again looking for an actual flank or looking for a rotation. And again, applies to any tank in the game. If you're playing Winston, I'm gonna say the same thing. Playing Bull, Zarya, fucking Hog, I'm gonna say the same thing. You flank here, look for a hook. Playing Winston, widen the map a little bit, maybe force the point, jump out, all good. Right, same idea. Maybe if you're playing Winston, play here, jump in, right? And then you can maybe soft engage to like over here, that could be fine, right? A bit hard to do with the Winston here because of the map geometry. But again, same idea applies.
Yeah.
It's really easy to look at this and be like, I'm getting no heals, guys. My supports are dying, right? But again, you're not making any space. You're not giving an opportunity for your team to walk forward.
No, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
They have to walk into a Zen Honor Bastion. Of course, you're gonna lose that, right? It's what I like to call front to back, where if both teams like sort of like bosh their heads into each other, who's gonna win? And clearly, it's going to be their team because of the sheer damage output they have on the front line, plus the Orisa shield too. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Again, like, there's no point in me going over this too much here, because again, you're just spamming main, spamming main, spamming main, spamming main. Alright, you do want to the Bastion there a little bit, but not really. Again, there's no angle taking here.
Oh, I see.
No angle taking.
Push main, like, only.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be... Yeah, I mean, you probably will get blown up for this as well. You should at least. Yeah. So yeah, again, that's why you lost that fight, you know? You just stuck main and didn't take an angle, you know? Which is really unfortunate, because you could have 100% won that game had you, like, actually took an angle for you once, gone for a mid-fight rotation, and played in those aggressive but safe spots. Okay, we'll look at another code. Let's see. We'll do Midtown. Okay.
Yeah, the Midtown game was today, so that should be more familiar.
Alrighty. Here's your POV. Okay. Alright, so again, same ideas here. With Zarya specifically, again, it's going to be about visual aggro to get bubble charge. I always say bubble aggression. Bubble aggression refers to who's looking at you. Or like what damage is reliable that you can actually farm your bubble off of. Of course, they're playing pharmacy, so it should be fairly easy to get charged by, you know, bubbling rockets and whatnot. And also because it's low elo, they're gonna get charged by people shooting at you anyways. People love to shoot power blocks and people love to shoot bubbles regardless, right? Regardless if they're looking at you or regardless, you know, if you're bubbling, but we'll see.
Yeah, my main idea how I use Zarya bubbles is just taking or holding space.
Right, and I think again that's an important use of it too. Is when you're high charge, you want to be have at least one other bubble for you to actually hold that space really easily. And again, that links back to aggressive but safe, right? You are more safer on an angle if you've got a bubble to hold the angle with, and you're high charge too. The way Zarya's kit works, it's very simple. Like your space creation comes down to how much charge do you have. Because if you've got high charge, they're going to run away from you, and that gives your team space. But also, with the bubbles that you have as well. Like, if you've got no bubbles, but you're high charge, you can also get burnt down really, really easily. And you can't hold space that well. So really those two key factors are going to determine how much space you can hold and who you can really threaten.
Yeah.
And the bubble here is good, but not for the reasons that you're doing it, right? So it's good because you take aggro from the ball power driver, but also the Pharah too, right? But you're not aware the Pharah is fully shooting you here. You're not looking at the Pharah, which is the issue here. So you're going to get a good charge off of this bubble, I guarantee it. You're just looking behind you. Maybe not, right? And that's kind of the reason, right? I'm expecting this sort of elo for the Pharah to sort of shoot you, right? But that's why visual aggro is so important. You need to look at the Pharah and look at what she's shooting at, so you can actually bubble the charge. Right? Even here, like she was looking at the building actually when you bubbled there. She was not looking at you.
Yeah.
And now she's looking at you. Right now she is, but she sees that you're bubbling, so she's not gonna shoot you anymore. So yeah. Okay. That's an insane kill to get, mind you, considering that the Pharah had double pocket from her Mercy and her Ana, which is.
Yeah, I also don't know how he did this.
I mean, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it, I suppose. And again, look at the aggro, right? Like, Ana Mercy aggro. Like, nothing. No aggro there whatsoever, you know? But even Ana's looking at the Mercy when you're bobbling. And now you get slept, right? You would love the bubble there to look at the Ana's eyes, and then bubble the actual sleep dart itself.
Yeah, I expected Ana to look early for a sleep dot there.
Yeah, and that's why, again, you need to be way less reactive. You can be reactive into like high poke comps like Junkrat's and Sojourn disruptor shots where that's like free charge, but yeah, that can't be happening against fast projectiles or hit scan targets.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Well, again, this comes into the turn and burn thing where I want you to like essentially zone out these people. Your team's kind of doing that, so maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe you can force it the ball in the meantime, right? But yeah, I would just keep it again awareness of what's going on behind you, because I didn't even know your team were behind you before I even looked.
No.
Okay, again the aggro, right? No one's shooting you. This Pharah is shooting your brig, not you. So you're gonna get little charge out of this. Okay. Eyes are really important. And again, I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen, right? Because you kind of wasted your cooldowns a lot on Orisa, and this is kind of how it's going to look on Zarya here. Which is a lot more punishing on Zarya, because your normal damage is nothing. It's a wet noodle.
No, it's true.
It's better, right? Pharah is actually looking at you, so you get decent charge there. The cast is also looking at you, so you're getting decent charge there as well. Okay. Fine. That's just one, you can chase the kill there, double back. Very unfortunate. Yeah, I would like the early bubble there, because again, he's looking at you, but it's fine. He's still decent charge for that. Okay, so slightly better bubbles there towards the end. We'll see. Okay, let's do that again. So you are, I mean, the ball's kind of looking at you, kind of-ish. He was shooting at you initially, but again, he's not enough aggro. You can stop shooting at any time because he's hit scan, right? He's not enough aggro for you to actually to earn a bubble, right? The Pharah is, the Cass is, our pocketed target is, not ball. So yeah. Again, inadvertently, you get good charge over this because of the Pharah. Right, even bubbling your Tracer there makes sense. Right, look at your Tracer. She's actually playing aggressively and peeking into the enemy Ana.
I do so.
And the ball, so yeah, so it's just hopefully you bubble this.
In a few seconds.
Yeah, for 5 seconds off. Okay. Mercy fine, good targets. Okay. I don't hate that bubble, because again, the Ana is looking at you here. I would just rather you playing, I would have rather you play cover here than look to chase a kill, because you've got low charge anyways, and the Ana can away at the bubble. I think if you're high charge, I don't mind you bubbling early here, because you can melt the Ana while your bubble is active, essentially.
Oh yeah, okay.
But yeah. Now the Ana's gonna sleep you basically. Or you're gonna get punished, yeah. So again, you overextend there for essentially no reason. Or again, you haven't got a trigger. Again, back to those triggers, right? HP, cooldowns, but energy is, I would count as a cooldown here, to be honest. Again, or charge, you can call it. cooldowns as well involves Honor's Nade or Sleep Dart, which you still had. Again, no CDs there. The only trigger you had was that you killed the Mercy. Only trigger you had. So yeah, bit unfortunate. Okay. Let's see here.
Yeah, yeah,
now.
it's work because of ball.
Yeah, so like again, this is why I don't. When things aren't working, don't swap immediately.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're never gonna learn how to play Zarya into that comp, you know.
No, that's true.
And you're never gonna learn to play Zarya. Like when I was playing Malga, like believe you me, people were playing Ana, Zen, Bastion, Sigma, Junker Queen. They were playing the hardest Malga counters you can fathom, right? And I was still winning games in master lobbies because I knew how to play Malga, or I knew how to adapt my playstyle to the character, you know. Like, and that's how you improve at the game. You're never gonna learn how to play Zarya into a ball comp. And Zarya's not good into ball. Don't get me wrong. But in this elo, if you're good enough for Zarya, you can make it work. So yeah, it's a band-aid fix. Rather than actually, again, learning to improve in the character. It can feel really tempting
I
to do
should
this.
be one streaking for like 1 week on something.
Unironically, yeah, you should. And learn and try and think about, okay, this is what they're playing. How do I adapt my playstyle to this? How do I change how I play? Things like that. And again, you can learn a lot from that. So yeah, especially in gold, where it's not that deep anyways. Okay. And yeah, I think the hook there was fairly reasonable. Again, you're trying to guesstimate his trajectory, so I don't hate that hook. I'm not gonna cry you for it. Big pen's fine as well. Okay. Let's see. Slams. We suck. Okay. What did you Big pen?
There was somebody above. I heard somebody above me. I was like, if he peeks again, he would just go into the big pen.
Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with this. Honestly, like, you can zone these few people off, right? Prevent them from peeking, and then the rest of your team can deal with the foot above. So that's fine. I'm not gonna cry you too much for this. You're zoning. Okay. Trying to punish them. Okay. Okay, look at the cast. You actually look around for once. Thank God. Okay, pick pen's reasonable. Hook's reasonable, unlucky. Okay, finish the Cassidy, he's in open space. Alright, nice.
Yeah, I need to look behind me like a lot more. I just noticed I never done it.
Okay. Pick pen's reasonable. Unfortunate hook. You'll be fine here. Okay. Fine. Nice hook. Fortunate, nice. Fine, I would breathe that because you're taking aggro, good. Okay, breather, taking aggro, good. Yeah, so a small thing there is that when you're moving back with whole hog, or not hog, so when you're moving back with breather, I would move back to the fire truck instead, because again, it's aggressive but safe, right? You're deep-peeking the soldier because you've got the fire truck as cover.
Oh, yeah, I see.
But you can also, again, flank around here and look for a kill onto the enemy Arna or soldier here. So again, slight myth rotation there. But honestly, barring some mechanical stuff, not too bad of a fight there. Again, you're actually using your cooldowns in accordance to the aggro that you're taking.
Yeah, also Hawk is like my main, so I...
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's a
Will be
lot
the
more
best
hours on
Hawk.
Hawk. Right, yeah.
A lot more. Probably like double, triple even on Orisa.
Right. Okay, I probably not needed that because the fight was over, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a quick summary here at the end and summarize the points, but I think we know what the key things to work on are. Wait, we'll use this wall. Yeah, okay. I think first point has to be, I'll say aggressive, but safe spaces. Again, the aggro part comes down to being able to aggress onto enemy, well, not just enemies generally. And then the safe part comes down to cover, LOS to your backline, distance on the enemy team, and any escapes.
Yeah.
And then what else to that as well? I can bunch in mid rotations as well. Mid rotations, every mid rotation that I've mentioned in this VOD so far is aggressive but safe. So mid rotations count under this as well.
Yeah, also can you like summarize this in Discord for me?
Yeah, no, I'll
So I can... Okay.
Yeah, I've also recorded the session too, so you can watch it back at your spare pace.
I see.
Yeah. But I can also do a Discord
really
summary
nice.
as well. Okay, second thing.
Yeah, then I can just look at that.
Yeah. Second thing is, let me think. Yeah, I'll say this. I'll say visual aggro with how you CDs. So look at the eyes of the enemy team. And again, that dictates whether bubble or not. And third thing has to be awareness for sure. You literally lost 2 fights on Antarctic Peninsula, because you never looked at your backline. I'll say awareness and triggers. So again, 5 triggers are HP, cooldown, numbers, alts, and positioning. And then again, just do a quick check before you go in or while reloading.
Oh yeah, I see.
So yeah, a quick swivel of the camera there was all reasonable. Any questions?
Nope, it's very clear to me.
Right, great. Yeah, I mean, if you literally just do, if you can get the second and third point, if you literally just do the first point, you will climb immediately. Because that Peninsula game was very winnable. And again, had you just taken an angle to look for the honor, the Zen, etc., you would have won so many more fights. Especially when it comes to the second point on Peninsula. But yeah, okay, I've recorded the session. I've recorded the session, so again, that should be up in a few days. Hopefully, I'll link it to you when it's done.